Hello and welcome to Physiology 141. This is an online course offered through the LaLima website. I'm your instructor, Ross Langston, and this is an asynchronous course. And what that means is that the course materials, as far as the lectures, the quizzes, even some of the exams, are posted for a week or 2 weeks, and so you can complete those during any time during that time period. You do not have to be in class or log on at any one particular time. Okay, so this is me. I'm Ross Langston. I have a doctorate in zoology, also have degrees in veterinary technology and biology. If you want to get a hold of me, the best way to get a hold of me is either stop by my office, which is in Loa 102, or you can give me a call on my cell phone at 429-6218. This is the best way to reach me because I am always checking my cell phone. So send me a text or give me a call. If you send me an email, it might take a day or 2 days for me to get back to you because of the glut of email that I get. So feel free to use this cell phone number. Okay, if you come to visit me on the Windward Community College campus, my office is located in Loa 102. So here you can see on the map where it's located. I'm on the very outside of the building. So there I am. Okay. And before we get started, I should ask you why you are taking this class. Now, I understand that you're taking this class to fulfill prerequisites, let's say for pre-nursing or rad tech or something like that, but why specifically are you taking the class online? Because the answer to that will determine whether or not you're going to do well in the class. First of all, let's start out with some very bad answers for why you're taking online. You should not take this class online if this is your first online class. Zoology and anatomy classes are hard enough as it is, and when you put them online, there's an extra burden there. So hopefully you've already taken an online class. If not, think about registering for an online class this semester. Okay. The other reason you should not take online classes is because you will think it will be easier. Again, face-to-face classes tend to be easier than online classes. Online classes are particularly challenging. Don't register for this class if you don't have the time to complete it. In general, it's going to take 7 to 8 hours of studying each week in order to do well in this class. And by do well, I mean get a C or better. Also, don't take this class online if you tend to be a procrastinator. If you procrastinate, if you miss deadlines, that's going to catch up with you very, very quickly. And finally, don't take the class online if you're going to be timid about contacting me as your instructor. That's why I have my cell phone number out there for you to text or call at pretty much any time during waking hours. I'm glad to get back to you, but you have to take the initiative to contact me in the first place. Okay, so online classes do require much more effort than face-to-face classes. So in order to succeed, you must be extremely motivated. The people that get A or B grades in this class typically have taken online classes before. Many of them already have bachelor's degrees in other subjects, and so they really know how to study and kind of teach themselves. You also need excellent time management skills. You need to be realistic about the number of hours you're going to have to put in this course and not procrastinate. You should also have a very good dedicated computer that you purchased in the last 4 or 5 years. You should have antivirus software, everything you need on there, and of course you should know how to use the computer. Also, you should have probably completed another science course at the college level with a B grade. Going through one science course does help you prepare for other science courses, whether it's chemistry, astronomy, etc. And finally, you should take the initiative to contact me if you do not understand a topic or have questions about anything in the course. Okay, here's the course description. I'm not going to read it all out to you, but this is a first semester of a 2-semester course in human anatomy and physiology, which is designed to give you the background you need to succeed in nursing school and other allied health fields. We're going to cover topics such as osmosis, diffusion, and we'll get to that in just a minute, but a lot of it deals with homeostasis, that is how the body maintains internal balance, and there's also a lot of anatomical structures we're going to cover as well. Okay, here you can see the learning outcomes for the class. I'm not going to belabor them, but a lot of it is identifying anatomy. Now that said, a lot of the identification is going to happen in the lab class, that is Physiology 141 lab. So in the lecture class, we're going to focus more on how things work. How does the body work to maintain homeostasis? How do we maintain blood pressure and things like that? Okay, so here are the basic concepts we're going to tackle this semester. We're going to start out with an introductory lecture on anatomy and physiology, what it is, what the different studies of anatomy are. Then we're going to talk about anatomical position, talk about terms like proximal and distal as they refer to the human body. And then we're going to spend the next 2 or 3 weeks just doing an intro to biology. We're going to cover a little bit of chemistry, some cell theory, and then we're going to start talking about tissues. Now, once we progress through tissues, we begin to work on body systems. For example, the integumentary system, skeletal system, muscular system, etc. And we end up this semester closing with lectures on special senses, things like vision, hearing, etc., and also the autonomic nervous system. Okay, let's talk about the course requirements. First of all, you will need a textbook for the course. Fortunately, the textbook we have is the OpenStax Anatomy and Physiology. This is available online. I've sent you a link on the course website. You can also just Google OpenStax Anatomy and Physiology. If you feel that you need a print textbook, you can go to the bookstore, or probably better to go on Amazon.com and get a print copy for about $50. Now, this is not a great textbook. Some of the other textbooks that are out there for sale are a lot better, but this is a free textbook, and I want to say that as far as studying information, you want to concentrate on the lectures and then use the textbook to supplement the information in lecture. There will be some differences in the lecture and also in the textbook. The other thing you need is a reliable computer. Again, a computer that's been purchased in the last 5 years, has antivirus software on it, etc. And finally, you're going to need really good internet access. A lot of the activities we're going to be doing as far as viewing lectures, taking online quizzes, will be done at home. And it's important you have a good, reliable internet connection, because if your internet craps out during the middle of a quiz, you could get a 0 score. And I do allow you to drop the 2 lowest quizzes, and I also, of those quizzes, let you take them 5 times. But that being said, I will never reset a quiz for any kind of technical problem that is linked to your internet access. So if you don't have good internet access, you might want to come to campus to take the quizzes. Okay, let's talk about the other course requirements at this point. So what are you going to do in a given week? Well, in a given week, you're going to watch some online lectures, and the lectures tend to be almost 60 to 75 minutes per piece. And this is basically a condensed version of the face-to-face lecture. You're not going to be able to watch it all in 75 minutes. You're going to need to take breaks, go back over material. So I would say budget about 2 hours a week to do the online lectures. The readings will generally be a chapter a week, sometimes 2, and I would say you're going to need 3 hours a week to do the readings. Okay. We also have some discussion board assignments that we'll talk about, but we only have 3 of them through the semester. So on average, you'll be spending 0.5 hours a week working on discussion boards. And then we have the weekly quizzes and exam reviews. You can take each quiz 5 times, which we'll talk about. So you want to budget yourself up to 2 hours a week in order to get the grade that you want on your quizzes. So already we've got 2, 3, 4, 5, 7.5, probably 8 hours minimum in order to do well in the course. Okay, so here are the ways that I assess you in the course. You will take a quiz each week. There are 15 quizzes in the course. Each quiz can be taken up to 5 times, and only the best grade is saved. Now, the important part is that you have to take them before the deadline ends. For example, you have a quiz that's due this Friday, and if you forget to take it, you get a 0 grade. So my advice is go on right now and take that quiz. Even though you may not have studied, at least that first one you'll get a couple points just by guessing, and then you can subsequently improve your score by taking higher and more versions of that quiz. Okay, exams must be taken at a UH testing center. These are worth the bulk of the points in the class, so they're worth 200 points apiece, and they have to be taken at a UH testing center. Typically give you 2 hours to complete 100 questions, which are multiple choice, fill in the blank, etc. Some of these questions will come from the previous quiz pools, so it's to your advantage to really study the quizzes that you've already taken and make sure you know the answers to the questions that you got wrong. Other assignments include the discussion boards. Discussion boards are for ways to me to assess how you're learning and also facilitate discussions between members of the class. There will be different rubrics for each of the 3 discussion board assignments, and in general I will post those assignments at least 2 weeks before they are due. Generally, these assignments are going to be posted on the Forums tab on the left side of the LaLima page. Okay, next, exam reviews. In order to prepare for the exam, you should, of course, be studying the lectures, etc. But I will have 3 exam reviews, one before each exam, and these are about 70 to 100 points, 70 to 100 questions apiece, and you need to score a 75% or above in order to get your 10 points per each exam review. Now, fortunately, these exam reviews can be taken at home and open book, so there's no reason you shouldn't get a good score. I also assess class participation. Even though this is an online class, I want to make sure that you are participating regularly. And the way that I assess that is 2 ways. One, through the site stats. I monitor how frequently you log on, how many files you've accessed, what lectures you've watched, etc. I also can monitor the number of attempts you make on each quiz. My advice is take each quiz all 5 times so that you can get a good sense of what type of material will be on the exam. If you do this, you should get full class participation points. Okay, I do offer a limited amount of extra credit in the course. One of these is something called a 5 for 5 challenge. Typically every week or 2 I will email out a picture that has 5 different questions on it, and usually has pictures within that picture slide, and it will say, identify this bone or something like that. And the first 5 students to reply to me with correct answers can get up to 5 points extra. Now, if you're the 6th student, don't worry so much because you can do the next one the following week. And each student is allowed to participate in one 5 for 5 challenge per each exam period. So everybody's going to get a chance to get their 5 points, and you'll get a maximum of 15 points throughout the semester. The other type of extra credit I offer is embedded extra credit. That is, it's embedded within either the weekly announcements or embedded within the lectures themselves. And this is a way for me to assess if you're really looking at the course materials. For example, we're going to have an embedded extra credit question today, and that has to do with a sectioning plane that will be covered in your first week of class. So take a look at the photo right here and tell me what kind of sectioning plane this is. Okay, you can see that she's kind of cut right down the middle there. So if you know the answer to that by the end of the week, you want to basically send me a message on email or through the Dropbox, and also post a picture of yourself with your family, your pet, or your favorite dessert or something like that, just so I can get a sense of faces and put them together with names and things like that. So that's due by 11 p.m. this Friday, and it's worth 5 points. Okay, the grading scale in the course is typical for other community college courses. 80 to 89 is a B, 90 to 100 is an A, etc. You will notice there are no N grades. I do not give N grades for this course. Okay, how to succeed in this course. First of all, log in daily, or if not daily, at least 2 or 3 times a week. You need to do the course materials on time, on a timely schedule, and you also need to be familiar with your syllabus. Read your syllabus. This is your Bible for the class and how to do well, and make sure you don't fall behind. Keep up with the assigned readings, keep up with the lectures, that's a no-brainer there, and complete the topic review exercises that are in the folders. I will be updating the study guides for this class, so don't worry about doing the study guides right now, but I should have you an updated study guide within 2 weeks of the first exam. Also, be aware of important deadlines such as the drop date, when the quizzes are due, etc. These are all located in the course syllabus. Okay, if you have a physical, cognitive, or mental health disability, you can contact Dr. Ann Lemke, and she will work with me to make reasonable accommodations for your disability. For example, if you need more time on an exam, she can suggest a time for me, and I will extend that time for you. But the point is, you need to work with Dr. Lemke before requesting an extension. Okay, let's end up by going to the Anatomy and Physiology website on LaLima. So here you can see lalima.hawaii.edu. And we're going to click on the course that we are taking, which is the Physiology 141 online. There it is. Okay, and you can see that announcements will be here on the right side of the screen. There's nothing there now. And then everything else you need to know is on the left side of the screen. So let's go click on this folder right here, which is called Resources. We're going to be spending a lot of time there. So within Resources, you can see several different folders, one folder for each week of the class. The first folder you want to click on is right here in the course introduction. The course introduction is where we have the syllabus, everything that you need to get started. So let's click on that. Okay, within the course introduction folder, you can see there's several different files on there. There's our lecture syllabus that we just talked about. You need to download that, print it, and read it. There are also lecture outlines. Now this is about 120 pages of outlines that I use for the PowerPoints in the class. The PowerPoints I use are typically 30 to 50 slides per presentation, something like that. And so if you want copies of those in a 6-slide format, you can print those out. Also here is a link to your textbook. You can either get it online or as a downloadable PDF. And then the last two files we'll be talking about in our first discussion board is how to succeed in anatomy and physiology. Since this is your first semester, it is helpful to view these, and this will be part of your first discussion board, which will be announced in a couple days. Okay, next let's go back under resources and we're going to click on week 1, orientation to the human body. So this is the reading and assignments for this week. You're going to see a couple things in here. First of all, there's two different versions of the lecture. They both cover the same material, but they're in a slightly different format. The one that you should use preferentially is the one with the HTML with interactive questions. These are basically, again, 60 to 70-minute lectures that have interactive questions interspersed in there to see how you're doing and how you understand the material. Even though you get a score at the end of the presentation, this score does not translate to the score for the course, so don't worry about getting them wrong. It's just a way for you to assess your own knowledge. Also in here is the actual PowerPoint. If you want the PowerPoint to edit, you can use that, or just a single outline copy of that particular chapter. Okay, let's go now to assignments, tests, and surveys. Okay, this is located on the left-hand side. This is where you're going to go to take the quizzes for the course, and you can see that all the quizzes are already set up for the course, and you're going to begin this week by taking the Chapter 1 quiz, which is on the Introduction to Anatomy and Physiology. You can see that you have 5 attempts for that quiz, and that you get 12 minutes for each attempt, and that the quiz is due on Friday, January 17th at 11 p.m. So as you take that quiz the first time, you'll get a score here, and then if you want to take it again, you might notice that it doesn't appear at the top anymore. It will get scooted probably down to the bottom. So if you don't see the exam or the quiz that you're supposed to take and you know the deadline hasn't passed, look down here. Okay, the last thing I want to talk about is the grade book. We have a grade book for the course, and I use it religiously to enter all your grades. And so if you want to see how you're doing in the course, just click on the Gradebook Classic, and it will show you the scores for each of the assessments that we've taken so far. Now this one doesn't have any assessments that are graded because the person hasn't completed any assignments yet. But as you go through the course, you should be able to see how you're doing on the assignments, and it should calculate a course grade for you during the course. Okay, so that's the end of our introductory lecture. I want to tell you what you need to do this week. First of all, as a reminder, you need to download and print the syllabus and lecture outlines. Also, read the syllabus, very important. You need to read Chapter 1 in your textbook, which is entitled Orientation to the Human Body. You need to be diligent about taking notes. And you also need to view the Orientation to the Human Body in the Week 1 folder. Finally, you need to take the Chapter 1 quiz by 11 p.m. this Friday. Again, you get 5 attempts, and my suggestion is take them early. Go ahead and take one today, do a little bit of studying, take another one tomorrow, etc. And then take all 5 attempts, because that's going to give you the best background on the different questions that might be on the exam. Finally, I'm going to be sending out a discussion board assignment, discussion board 1. This will be due in 2 weeks, but you should begin work on it this week to make sure you don't fall behind. As always, if you have any questions or concerns, text me or email me, and my phone number is 808-429-6218, that's my cell, or 808-236-9119 in the office. Okay, I look forward to meeting each of you. Thanks.